Amidst calls for scrapping of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC), the scheme is being repositioned to make it relevant to the modern age. One of the innovations being introduced to the NYSC is the Trust Fund. Corps members and officials are urging the National Assembly to expedite action on the passage of the NYSC Trust Fund at the passing out parade of the 2021 Batch A Stream 1 NYSC members at the Permanent Orientation Camp Iyanopaja in Lagos. They stress that the Trust Fund is capable of addressing unemployment among youths. TVC News' Nelson Etta has a story. Let's listen to this.
One of the innovations being introduced to the National Youth Service Corps NYSC is the Trust Fund. A bill for an act to establish a National Youth Service Trust Fund NYSCTF has passed second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, when passed into law, is to provide sustainable source of funding for corps members, skill acquisition, training and empowerment to establish a self-sustained business after the mandatory 1 year of service. To ensure that corps members are effectively prepared and empowered to stand on their own after their service year, the NYSC flagged off a Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Program, SAID, in 2012. The aim of the program is to train members on multiple streams of wealth creation like fashion designing, ICT, shoe making, agriculture, fish farming, hair making, automobile, just to mention but a few.
Last year, December, I was nominated as one of the top winner of Unity Bank Entrepreneurship Fund. They gave us startup capital to enable to start up something here in Ogun State. I have the opportunity to be one of the, under the program JEF, Graduate Entrepreneurship Fund, where NYSC with BOI fund young corps members who actually want to become an entrepreneur. And today, after 1.5 years of disbursement, I own my fashion house where I make not just craft, not just fashion designing, but a whole lot of things. And now this place is an industry.
The Enco Production Company, it started in 2016, July precisely. The company came into existence through the encouragement of NYSC program, collaborated with the Bank of Industry to empower youth who want to be self-reliant.
I'm a beneficiary of SAID from NYSC National Headquarters, Abuja, and also lucky to have gotten the Bank of Industry loan in 2017.
I was lucky enough to get BOI loan, that GF program, 2 million naira, and I'm not where I want to be though, but then I'm still satisfied with the level I am right now.
Having acquired our skills in agro-allied, we're given a startup fund without interest of 300,000. Now that may amaze you, but I started my agricultural enterprise with this little startup fund, which was quite a lot for me. Now I've been able to establish my farm. I'm an agro-entrepreneur and the CEO of 12 Gates Farm and Agro-Allied Services.
I'm a beneficiary of the program, the NYSC BOI GF Fund, and I was empowered with 1.9 million naira.
However, to increase the number of beneficiaries of both the training and financial empowerment, the NYSC is requesting the federal government to establish a trust fund that will sustain the vision of the program. At the passing out parade of 2021 Batch A, Stream 1 National Youth Service Corps members at the NYSC Orientation Camp Iyanopaja, Agege, Lagos. The Lagos State Coordinator of NYSC, Mr. Eddie Megwa, spoke on why it became imperative for the scheme to be created and how corps members will assess the funds when the bill is finally passed into law.
In the next 3-4 years, it's projected that we'll be having close to 500,000 prospective corps members coming into National Youth Service Corps. Where are the funds? Now don't forget that NYSC is being run by federal government, state government, and local government. It's standing on 3 points. Okay? Now, we are now saying, now you have watched all of them. pass out today. 99.9% of them, no job. There's nowhere, they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. They've been living on this 33,000 naira every month. And from today, it has stopped. Now, with this trust fund, we can better their lot by giving them startup capital, even as they are leaving the National Youth Service Corps. Now, with the capital given to them, they will be able to employ labor, they will be able to create wealth, they will be able to increase the GDP of the country. There are not going to be any bottleneck. Once the thing is there, and we know that these are bona fide corps members or corps members that have served meritoriously their fatherland. Look, we don't pay them salary. What we pay them is allowance. The sacrifices they go through, you will not believe. I'm sure you served, and you know what you went through. There is no amount of money you pay these young ones that will equate to the services they render to the Nigerian, society. Okay, and so when the fund is there, we are going to match it with the core members to make sure we'll give them, a lease of hope in life for them to access and start up their own business.
The representative of the state governor and permanent secretary in the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, SESAN OGUNDEKO, commended the core members for their dedicated service, which has impacted positively on the state, and admonished them to face their future with hope.
On behalf of the government and the good people of Lagos State, I wish to thank you all for your dedicated service and contributions to the development of our state and improvement in the lives of the citizens of the Center of Excellence through the several projects that you have executed, especially in the rural communities. I commend you all for the diligence and hard work displayed in ensuring you leave behind worthy legacies that will fast-track the development of your place of primary assignment and communities. I admonish you to proceed and face the future in the confidence and hope for a better and glorious future.
Some of the passing out core members who spoke with me expressed their expectations for the scheme when finally in full operation.
I think for me, if this thing is put into place, the NYSC Trust Fund, it will help our infrastructural facilities. Now, from my research, like 30 years ago, the way the building is still the way it is right now. Dilapidated building, where there are truths that can be verified. Now let's go down to the camp secretariat at Surulere. It's still the same way that the building is. That is still the way it is up to now. If you go to the local government, the same thing. It is overcrowded. Gone were those days that we have like 2,000 core members. But now the capacity is expanding, and we need this NYSC Trust Fund to actually see that we put all these infrastructures into place. And for me, we appreciate the federal government so far for what they have been doing, but we need them to do more and bring the corporate entities together also, so that we can be able to adapt and see to all these infrastructural buildings and see that it will aid our welfare. For me, I say a yes and a very big yes to NYSC Trust Fund.
We have the mentality that says, NYSC, now your suffering continues. That shouldn't be the mentality of the youth. We should know that, okay, it is now your startup company starts. Because if the trust fund is there, we'll be able to equip ourselves, and the scheme would have equipped us during the 1 year of our service. So for me, the trust fund will help us curb our crime rates. Imagine doctors, nurses working with the bandits. That shouldn't be it. That shouldn't even be happening to graduate, because we need to increase the country's GDP. That should be what should be in at the high rate, not the crime rate. So for me, I would say yes to NYSC Trust Fund, and I'm hoping and I'm going to stand with it that we have the NYSC Trust Fund come in place.
For the Said is when you learn things, like you learn trade. So I did beautification, where we do crafting. This crafting, you can craft and beautify things with flowers or anything. So at least I gain knowledge from there, and also bead making as well. Yeah, I can actually do things with bead.
The Coalition of Unemployed Graduates in Nigeria, CUGN, has applauded the bill, noting that it has the potential to generate 1 million jobs annually if and when passed into law. According to the Lagos State Coordinator of NYSC, the scheme will not only create jobs, but also curb crimes.
Look at China. Do you know that every hamlet in household in China produces one thing or the other? We need to encourage these children. And when we do it, we are going to stem down banditry, armed robbery. Because if they don't have anything to lay hand on, they will have temptation to put their hands in negative things.
At the end of the day, the hope of the coalition of unemployed graduates in Nigeria, as well as serving corps members, is that this bill will become a reality and that transparency will be the measuring stick for selecting its beneficiaries.
Many thanks, Nelson Eta. Jide, the last time an honorable member of the House, from River State, talked about dismantling the NYSC, it raised a lot of uproar, I'm wondering if he was not a copper at a time, but then that this new thing coming to the 49-year-old service is a plus, if you ask me.
It's a massive one, and God bless the heart and the brain that thought out this idea, because look, this is a game changer. The way I see it, it's a game changer. Our country has a youth budge. The youth budge can either be a strength or even a time bomb.
Yeah.
We have a choice.
Depending on how you deploy it.
Yes, depending on how you use it. Is a massive advantage for us that we have this youth budge. And thankfully too, today's young people, they are very creative. If you give them the opportunity, they will make the most of it. So why not do your best for them, create the enabling environment for them to fester, for them to
keep them busy,
to grow without needing to come to you. Now, if you train these guys, you put them through all kinds of training, skill acquisition, drive within the NYSC camp. The NYSC has invested in skill acquisition modules for the youth corps members, but the big problem is usually, okay, when they leave the camp, what happens thereafter? The funding that is needed to set up a business of your own is usually not there. Those who have had the opportunity amongst these young people to start their own business, we've seen testimonies, so a lot of them are now employers of labor. That is what we want to see, not for people to simply be looking for white-collar jobs all over the place.
Yeah.
The reality is that the white-collar jobs are not there. You are going to wait in some cases for up to 10 years, you won't find a job. You can see we have people who will be very good at music making, for example. Some of them beats making. Some of them could even be farmers.
Yes.
Farmers. Some are into reinforcement making, iron rod, all of this, steel works. Steel works.
Yeah, dressing, everything.
Yes. So if you can provide the funding for them to start
a little something.
Yes, skills of their own.
Yeah.
Definitely these guys will go places. So
keep them busy.
That is, yes, instead of a lot of them could actually take to criminality if the opportunity is not there, So provide the funding. This is what this bill seeks to achieve. That little fund that they need to start something of their own, at least, will be available.
Yusuf, great ideas had always been there, but whenever the ideas come, making them work to advantage will be the problem. Great ideas. The NYSC was thought of by the later DDG. 49 years after, it is relevant. We say it is relevant to our situation.
It is even more relevant to Nigeria now than even when it was created.
Yes.
Yeah.
And God bless the current leadership of the NYSC. The ideas that they are implementing now are even making NYSC more relevant.
Revolutionary.
Because what I'm saying here, you see, some beautiful minds conceived the idea of TED Fund. And if many Nigerians don't know, the public education at the tertiary level has not collapsed in Nigeria because of TED Fund. And some people brought up that beautiful idea. Majority of beautiful things you see around federal and state campuses of
the structures.
It's through TED Fund. Now, some people have gone further. Now they realize that you can also design a creative means of funding, because what they're trying to do here is, the government gives out a lot of contracts. That 3% of every contract, if it's plowed into the scheme,
yeah.
The NYSC has started a revolution which is giving these brilliant young Nigerians, giving them skills, training them in virtually everything you can do. Now, when you exit the system, what do you become? A destitute? A what? No, say no. You can actually use these skills to make life, great for yourself. And do you know many of them, through the Bank of Industry, some of them and many of them have become entrepreneurs. Apart from fending for themselves, employment. Now, with a more solid structure in place, it can only get better. I believe this era of having to give 20 people stipend will no longer happen, because you just realize that young Nigerians are entrepreneurs, and with education there is nothing. If you don't think they will become the usual I'm talking about hairdressers. If you see a graduate going into hairdressing, he or she will do it in a way that you will marvel.
Yeah.
You get my point? Not one shop thing that many of our people do. So if you see a graduate going into farming, it can't be subsistence farming that we all know. Something that we have value chains, benefit for himself and for the country. So I'm really ecstatic about this. If I have my way, I was telling Jide, the current leadership of NYSC, if this bill is eventually passed and the president signs, I want him to be the one to start the implementation.
Okay, the current DG of
if you are able to do an NYSC that many people believe is just to collect money, and turn it to something more beautiful, with the law,
is even generating revenue now.
So now with
NYSC,
this idea, if it is passed and the president signs it, you won't believe the massive revolution that will happen.
Yeah.
Because it will not just give employment, it will solve problems of criminality. The other day we were talking about crimes like these people killing, ritual killings, and many of these things we just fizzle out.
Yeah.
Because idle hands will reduce.
Yeah. Okay then, Jide, I hear we have to pack it all in. We have about 3 more minutes to go. So the NYSC, we wish it Godspeed, because there's nothing like an old idea whose time has come.
Yes.
So
the time for this NYSC Trust Bill has come. We can't wait to have it passed into law by the National Assembly, and we can't wait for the president to
sign it.
His assent. Because this is a game changer for a lot of these young people. Look, if they have this opportunity honestly, the sky is the target for our country.
You're wondering if former youth corps members will be eligible for?
No. It is the
current.
It's not. That's why it is not a youth trust fund.
Okay.
NYSC, which means when you go to serve your country, they have said that when you leave service, when you finish service, you need a job. So this is what will prepare you for life after youth service.
Hands-on thing.
Yes, it will prepare you for life after youth service.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to rely on white collar jobs and
they
all
use
that.
the service here for training and skill acquisition. And as you exit, you are mobilized. You even start before you exit the system.
Okay then.